Guess what we're up to today? We're playing with a foam roller and some of his mates. Just stick around, we'll show you how I get this done. Alrighty, so today we're going to play with a foam roller. So you're probably familiar with these things. It's a hunk of foam that you can roll on. And you're typically using them to try and release tension in your muscles and that kind of stuff. I've had limited success with these things. So the conventional technique, which is you stick your foam roller out, throw a leg over it, and then roll backwards and forwards, doesn't really seem to do much for me. Either I can't seem to get enough pressure on the leg to actually get deep into the muscle, or because I'm quite weak in the upper body perhaps. I just can't hold myself up long enough for it to actually make any real difference. My arms get tired, and because I don't run on my arms, I don't really do a lot of work of strengthening them. And because I've suffered with IT band a little bit, so IT band problem through here, particularly in my last ultra marathon where I had to run for about 60 kilometers on a knee that really didn't want to work. I went searching all over the place to try and find an actual real fix for this, and stumbled across a few bits and pieces here and there, and I've finally found a technique which seems to work really well for me now. So that really involves just starting off doing your normal rolling, just for a little bit, just to get the muscle warmed up a bit. And then it's a combination of moving the muscle sideways. So instead of going this way along the roller, is going backwards and forwards on the roller. And then flexing the muscle, extending the muscle, then flexing it. And then articulating across, so putting some pressure down, just holding it there, and then flexing and extending to try and get the muscle fibers to line up again. And that's worked really, really well for me, particularly dealing with IT band issues. So instead of rolling the IT band itself, which you could do all day, it's not really going to make any difference, you're looking at targeting the muscles on either side of it and then above it. And so you start off, doing your quads. So a little bit of a roll to get them warmed up. And then what I'm doing is going backwards and forwards on the muscle. So just flopping the muscle backwards and forwards. And depending on how much it hurts, you can either be quite aggressive or not terribly aggressive at all. It's kind of up to you. But then once you've got that done, then starting to articulate the knee. So articulate the knee with pressure on the muscle. And then just moving up and down, hurts a bit, up and down the muscle while you articulate it. All right, and then give it a bit of a roll. Up. And making sure you're not focusing on the IT band itself, it's on the muscles that connect to the IT band, because they're the bits that you can actually have an effect on. And so you work your way all the way up to the hip, and then you want to be looking at doing things like your glutes. So same thing, bit of a roll to warm them up, and then going backwards and forwards across it. You can stretch them out a little bit and then roll them and backwards and forwards, and then articulate the joint so that the muscle's actually moving with some pressure on it, and just changing your position as you work through it. And that's worked really, really well for me. That's the one thing that's loosened up, not just my IT band, but also my calves as well. Right, so having fixed up our IT band problems, we need to look at the rest of your legs. So we've got some friends for my foam roller now. Starting off with, we've got a little rubber ball. This is a hard rubber ball that I got from a $2 shop, literally $2. And this is really, really useful. So I get plantar fasciitis and stuff like that, which is just annoying. But this is really good for rubbing along the soles of your feet. So something along the lines of, just put your foot on it. Just a quick light roll to start with, so nothing terribly aggressive or anything like that, because that's just going to mess you up. Just a quick light roll all over the place. Then start putting some pressure on it in various places and just gently just pushing on bits and pieces and seeing what hurts and what doesn't. And then going crossways and around. Then finding there's usually a bit right in the middle that hurts like crazy. Okay, so where you find bits, you can just hold it for a bit until that releases a bit, and then keep moving around and work on the bits that hurt. And what I find, particularly in winter time, so I get up and go for a run in the morning to get that out of the way before I get into my day. And because I'm an old man, everything is stiff and sore first thing in the morning. It's really, really hard to get your feet going. So I roll this under the soles of my feet before I put my shoes on. And that just loosens things up a bit. And that's really helped prevent me getting reoccurrence of injuries, particularly starting off on the run first thing in the morning when your body's still very cold. So that's really, really useful. The other thing I bought is this. This is just a wooden finial from a hardware shop. It cost me like $2, $5, something like that. The price that's come off it. This is amazingly useful for massaging your legs. As I say, I haven't worked hard on my upper body strength and my finger strength because I don't tend to use my fingers a lot when I'm running. And so I can't massage myself long enough with my fingers before my fingers get tired to solve any problems. But this is magic because this doesn't get tired. So all we need to do, I usually start out just rubbing this across the heel, up around the tendons, and just going lightly, okay? You're not going to go crazy with this thing. But just rubbing it to start with, and then working your way up the calf muscle. Now when you're doing your rubbing, you want to rub upwards so that you're pushing the blood through the veins up towards your heart. If you're going to be pushing them down again, you're going to be doing damage to the non-return valves inside your veins, which will give you varicose veins, which is not such a good look. So just be keeping the pressure coming upwards as you come up. Work up into the muscle and then just use this to wiggle your muscle backwards and forwards, you know, all over the place. Find those tender spots and get stuck in there because the tender spots is where the knots are. Now I used to have this huge lump of a knot in here which I got some seriously bad cramping in an ultramarathon which locked my legs up. I couldn't actually physically move. And those knots have been enormous. It's taken ages to get rid of them. And the one thing that's really helped me do that is this, is being able to get in there, concentrate on that knot for quite a while, and just work my way through that, and then work your way along it, you know, along the direction that the muscle fibers are going, and just split them out. Right, so there's still a little bit of a knot in there, just there, but it's nowhere near as big as it used to be. And I don't have anywhere near as many problems with cramping in my calves as I used to have. And so that's a really, really useful tool, costs you next to nothing, and does a fantastic job. The other thing I picked up at the same time was a piece of dowel. So again, this is about half of the length that I got. It was less than $10, I think. And so you've probably seen the super expensive and things with Wi-Fi and all kinds of stuff in them that you use just to do a similar kind of thing and just massage your legs. And so this is also really useful for getting in and solving those same sorts of problems, but you can apply a lot more pressure and get deeper into the muscle. What's also really useful about this is you can go sideways, similar to what we did with the foam roller, going sideways. So just going backwards and forwards across the muscles, not so much on the tendons and things, you want to be a bit careful about that, but particularly on the muscles, where you can find those spots and just push backwards and forwards and really, really get deep into the muscle. And coming up the other side, and of course you can flex the muscle when you're doing it, you can extend the muscle when you're doing it. And it's nice, lightweight, it's all natural, so it's not going to do you any damage. And this works really, really well. And particularly, I've rounded off the ends of them. And so what I can do with that is this spot where the knot is, I can put this on its end, press right in there and just work through that knot. And my fingers don't get tired doing this. So I can sit there and do this for quite some time, then flop over and do the other leg or do the other side, and it's not a problem for me. My hands are not getting terribly tired. So typically I do this when I'm watching videos like Wild Ginger Running, hi Claire, or Sage, Canada, or the Ginger Runner. I'll sit and watch running videos and be working on my legs. And that way I'm all set to go out for the run the next day. And speaking of which, it's Labour weekend this weekend, it's summertime, and the sun is out. So now that I've got my legs all sorted, they're all happy, I'm off out for a run. So wherever you are, I hope your weekend's going well and you've got nice weather, so you can get out for a run too. And we'll catch you next time.